As you guys have likely seen already, Season 11 balance changes have arrived in COD Mobile, which means it's time for our top 10 guns of the season, and obviously, we'll be taking a look at the Groza to see how it stacks up against the current meta as well. Hope you guys enjoy. Big shout out to COD Mobile for sponsoring today's video. If you guys haven't already, you can download the game with the link in the description. Without any more talking, we'll go ahead and hop in the action. I want to give a couple honorable mentions to guns that are obviously super solid and absolutely viable in the current meta, just not quite good enough to be in our top 10. First, the Holger, which doesn't quite have the strafe speed that it had anymore, still very consistent in the close to mid-range time to kill, and 100-round base mag makes it very easy to use. Second, we got the PP19 Bison, which will probably forever and always be one of the easiest guns to use in the entire game. Third, the R9, which is the most commonly used shotgun in competitive COD Mobile, is absolutely dominant, and mainly just because it's so situational that I don't have it in there. And last but not least, the Groza, which, taking a look at the stats, I think is going to be a decent option, especially with the barrel that gives it some additional damage. But even with that damage boost, it's not going to have great 3-tap consistency, and as far as the rate of fire, it's pretty much on par with guns like the Bruen and the S36. So while it might be a fun gun to use, I don't see it being something that can really compete with our top 10. Coming in at our number 10 spot, we're doing something different, throwing in a little bundle of SMGs that can all pretty much be used interchangeably. The PDW, CBR, and Corday, all three have very similar statistics, but very minute differences that give them different advantages in different situations. The PDW, having a slower rate of fire, is going to struggle a little bit more in the close range, but has better 4-tap consistency and much better bullet spread accuracy, which means it's going to be able to compete better against guns in the likes of the Grau. The Cordite's a little bit more versatile because it has more ways that you can build it out, especially in regards to the magazine being able to go all the way up to 80 rounds. It does have better BSA than our third option in this category and has some decent 4-tap consistency, although it's not quite going to be on par with the other two guns in regards to that, so you've got to be making sure to hit your upper body shots. Third option is one that's been our top 10 for years at this point. The CBR, absolutely still phenomenal in the close range, and that's really where you're going to want to use it the most. Of these three options, it definitely has the worst bullet spread accuracy, so you want to keep things up close and personal, but since it still has decent mobility and great time to kill, it's definitely a solid option. Coming in at number 9 is a gun that I made a video about a couple of days ago. The DRH has made its way into the competitive meta thanks to a pro player from China named Uling, and it's absolutely a viable option in ranked as well. I honestly had considered putting it in our top 10 because the buff that it received last season, but didn't quite feel like I had tested it out enough to really put it there yet. The DRH functions as the ultimate hybrid AR SMG with ridiculously fast time to kill whenever you can achieve a 3-shot kill in the close to mid range. Thanks to all the bullet spread accuracy buffs that it's received over the years, it's also able to compete in the long range, and it is going to be a little bit more punishing because other guns are built out typically to be a little bit more accurate in the long range, but the DRH can absolutely keep up, and in the hands of the right player, it can be way better than number 9 on this list. At number 8, we've got the only LMG on the list. It's been on here for quite a while. The UL 736 is still the long-range 3-tap king of COD Mobile. Anyone who's gone against a good UL player can tell you how infuriating it is because of how lethal the weapon can be when you're achieving those 3 taps in long range. With a time to kill of under 200 milliseconds, extending all the way out to potentially 40 meters. On the right map, the UL can be your absolute worst nightmare. Because it does have a decent rate of fire, it's not uber punishing whenever you can't achieve a 3-shot. And the one downside that the weapon does have is subpar bullet spread accuracy, but fortunately there's lots of attachments that allow you to compensate for that and give you opportunities to challenge the best of the best. Coming in at number 7 is a gun that I'm convinced is never going to make its way outside the top 10. The only marksman on the list, the SKS, doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Those of you who watch competitive COD Mobile know that this has actually been banned from competitive for quite a while right now, and for good reason. In the hands of the right player, this thing can absolutely obliterate anybody. The main reason that it's not higher on the list than it is because it's one of the tougher to use options on this list, and especially if you're a thumbs player, it's going to be nearly impossible to use because of the number of different fingers that you need in order to use it properly. With that being said, whenever you master it, you can 1-tap to the head and 2-tap from anywhere on the map, assuming you're hitting your upper body shots. To be honest, I'm just thankful that we don't have to worry about more players using this in rank, because if we did, it would not be pretty. Coming in at number 6, a gun that to this day I don't think quite gets the respect that it deserves and has the potential to be one of the best ARs in the game. The KN-44 is an absolute beast, and I would say 100% a better option than the LK. There's been a lot of debate over this, but realistically, the only upside that the LK has over the KN is a better recoil pattern pattern, which realistically only deviates after the first 10 shots anyway. The KN has better bullet spread accuracy, better 3-tap consistency, better mobility, better ADS time, better iron sights. It's just all around a better option. Because of how ridiculously good the gun's bullet spread accuracy is, realistically, you can use it at any range. It also has great range attachment options that allow you to extend its 3-tap potential all the way out to around 40 meters, and realistically can even challenge guns like the UL 736 while maintaining that better mobility so you can take fights in the close range as well. This gun is a straight up head glitch killer and one that you absolutely need to try this season in Call of Duty mode. Coming in at number 5, I'm sure all the SMG fans will rejoice at the fact that we finally get an SMG in our top 10 guns in COD Mobile. It's one that I had tentatively placed inside the top 10, not being sure quite how it would be with the... It's one that I had tentatively placed in the top 10 of last season's guns because I wasn't really sure how it was going to measure up to the rest of the competition, but the CX-9 absolutely has now arrived with the buff that it's received and makes for a much more consistent alternative to the Fennec for a number of different reasons. Even though the gun's rate of fire is a little bit slower, it has much better bullet spread accuracy and is also much easier to control the recoil on top of the fact that you also have better alternatives in regards to magazines with the 50-round drum mag, or if you want to go absolute psycho, you can try the build that we posted on last night's video and just sprint across the map one bursting people with the 12-round hollow point burst mag. Assuming that the esports version gets all the balance changes that we currently have in COD Mobile, there's a very good chance that this is going to be one of the most dominant guns in the World Championship and one that you guys definitely need to get in your loadouts ASAP. Coming in at number 4, surprise, surprise, we have yet another assault rifle. The Kilo AR is another one of those that has been inside of our top 10 guns for years at this point. It looks like it will continue to stay there. It's a slightly easier to use option than some of the other ARs on this list. The Kilo does have a faster rate of fire, which means that it's a little bit more forgiving whenever you miss shots, and fortunately does have a pretty solid headshot multiplier that's now able to 3-tap a little bit more consistently than it was in the past. The one major downside of the Kilo is that it's not nearly as effective if you don't have the mythic version of the gun. That means more than likely you're probably going to want to use a red dot to make sure that you have maximum visibility. But that being said, it's definitely still viable even without the mythic version, and there's plenty of solid epic variants that you guys can try out as well. The build that I go with has a little bit extra recoil control because it's not necessarily the easiest to use in regards to the recoil, but just hit your shots and you'll pretty much be good to go. Coming in at number 3, we have what I would say is the number 1 SMG in COD Mobile, regardless of if you're a free-to-play player or if you like to buy the flashy skins. The Switchblade is ridiculously consistent regardless of the blueprint you're using, and to be honest, I would say is a little bit better even with the base version. While the gun does have a little bit of aim shake, I feel like it's very, very manageable, and the recoil is not too difficult either. It has solid rate of fire, very good multipliers, and even potential to 3-tap if you're able to land a couple of headshots. Obviously, this is a gun that's been inside of our top 5s and top 10s for years, like some of the other guns on this list, and if you've used it before, you're not really going to find out a whole lot that's new in this video, but definitely expect it to be used in World Champs, and definitely expect to see it in lots of ranked games as well. Coming in at number 2, I hate to break it to you SMG fans out there, but we're in an AR meta right now. It's the Grau as the number 1 favorite option in regards to assault rifles for pro players and ranked players alike right now. Obviously, the introduction of a banger rank skin has made this gun even more popular, and the fact that it is the only weapon in the game that you can actually change the iron sights with the barrel just makes it better and better. You can build this gun out a number of different ways, but I usually prefer to keep it right in the middle, having decent mobility for those up-close fights while still maintaining some of your range to be able to challenge guns with the likes of your ULs and your KN-44s. Grau is also receiving a mythic variant this season, so expect this to be used even more in the upcoming season. Despite the fact that it did receive a nerf, it wasn't one that's going to be super impactful, so if you're a Grau fan, no need to worry. And coming in at number 1, we once again have the HVK as the best gun in COD Mobile. There's not really any weapon in any category that can match this because it has crazy 3-tap potential, faster rate of fire than really any of the other ARs that are able to do it at the long range, and because the headshot multiplier is ridiculous, if you can achieve a 2-shot, you're pretty much just going to make somebody instantly rage quit. The HVK with large caliber ammo was actually so powerful that it got banned heading into the upcoming World Championships because it was being abused in every single region, but fortunately for you guys, there's no restrictions in rank, so you can abuse this sucker all day long. I like to build my loadout a little bit more aggressive, but if you like to go psycho and keep things up close, the light barrel is definitely a solid alternative as well. And that's going to wrap things up up for our top 10 guns of the season. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, drop a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next one.